Hi everyone, my name is Sheena Yap Chan, and I'm super excited to be here today to talk to you about confidence and leadership. And today's talk, I'll be talking about visible leadership, confidence in AI-driven scholarly communication. So I hope you're excited for today's presentation, and we'll get started. Let me just share my screen so we can get started. I hope you've been enjoying all the talks today at the conference. I know there's a lot of awesome subjects that you can tune into and check out. So let me just share the screen and we'll get started. All right, visible leadership, confidence in AI-driven scholarly communication. Why visibility matters. AI is transforming e-resources and scholarly workflows. Tools like machine learning, for discovery services, automated metadata enrichment, and AI analytics are already changing how collections are managed and how researchers interact with knowledge. These changes aren't just technical, they're reshaping roles, responsibilities, and expectations for librarians. If we stay invisible, decisions will be made without our expertise, potentially at the cost of equity, transparency, and user needs. Leadership requires confidence and visibility. Being skilled isn't enough. Leadership in the AI era means having the confidence to claim space and the visibility to be recognized as a driver of change. Without visibility, our work risks being undervalued or overlooked. With it, we can shape our decisions, influence vendors, and ensure our community's needs are met. Visible is a roadmap to show up, speak up, and lead. The visible framework, which is voice, identity, spotlight, inner work, belief, leverage, and elevation, provides a practical toolkit for librarians. It's not just about adopting new technology, it's about leading digital transformation ethically and visibly. This framework helps us step into the room, articulate our vision, and guide our institution through AI with confidence. So, visibility matters where we go. It's important to show up, to create, to break barriers, to create new opportunities, and this is something that I've been very passionate about ever since I started my journey. So we're going to talk about the Visible Framework, which is something I created. And the Visible Framework is a practical guide to leading with confidence in times of change. It emphasizes finding your voice to speak up in important conversations, embracing your identity to lead authentically, and stepping into the spotlight to ensure your contributions are recognized. It calls for consistent inner work to build resilience, a strong belief in your own expertise and value, and the ability to leverage allies and networks for greater influence. Finally, it highlights elevation, lifting others as you lead, ensuring that visibility and confidence create inclusive, collective progress. So I'm going to reiterate, what the framework includes. So voice, identity, spotlight, inner work, belief, leverage, and elevation. So it's a combination of inner and outer work because confidence does require inner and outer work to show up as our best self. And we're going to go a little bit deeper for each. So let's start with voice. Speaking into AI conversations, claim space in vendor and admin discussions. AI adoption decisions are often shaped by vendors and administrators. Without a confident voice, librarians risk being sidelined. Speaking up means asking the hard questions. How does this system protect user privacy? What's the source of training data? It also means asserting that librarians' perspective is not optional, it's essential to shaping ethical, user-centered technology. Storytelling makes complex AI issues relatable. For example, share a patron story. A student couldn't find relevant materials because the AI filter reinforced bias. Pair these stories with data, usage stats, workflow improvements, cost savings for a powerful one-two punch narrative and evidence. The combination makes your voice not just heard, but influential. Normalize librarian expertise in digital strategy. Too often, AI strategy is framed as a technical or administrative domain, but librarians bring expertise in metadata, access, equity, and information ethics, all core to AI systems. Normalize your presence by consistently showing up in committees, vendor demos, and planning meetings. The more you speak into these spaces, the more others expect and rely on your leadership voice. So just because AI is on the rise, it doesn't mean that it's going to wipe out our voice. It's going to elevate it. And when we can use it the right way, it builds our visibility, our influence, and our leadership. Identity, leading authentically. Define your professional why. Leadership starts with clarity and purpose. Ask yourself, why am I in this work? For many librarians, the why connects to access, equity, discovery, and trust in information. When AI feels overwhelming, your why serves as a compass. It helps you make decisions aligned with your values instead of being swayed by hype or fear. I think having a why is super important. It's the reason why I do what I do because I know how important my why is. For me, helping women, especially build visibility, build confidence, have more women in leadership is so important because it creates win-win situations for all of us. And so for me, showing up, being here, being in different stages, it gives me the reason to keep moving forward, even when times are scary, even when I feel like I'm not good enough. But I keep moving forward because I understand that it's bigger than myself. Be seen as both librarian and innovator. Too often, librarianship is viewed as traditional or reactive, but your role is both guardian of knowledge and driver of innovation. By experimenting with AI workflows, piloting tools, and sharing best practices, you show that librarians are not just keeping up with change, but actively shaping it. Confidence comes from embracing this dual identity, rooted in tradition, but forward looking in practice. Position yourself as an ethical guide for AI adoption. AI in scholarly communication raises questions of bias, transparency, and accountability. Librarians are uniquely positioned to lead on these issues because of our values, privacy, equity, intellectual freedom are often missing from the text-centered conversations. By claiming this identity as an ethical guide, you become indispensable in AI strategy. You're not just adopting tools, you're ensuring they serve communities responsibly. So next we're going to talk about spotlight, make work visible, shift from behind the scenes to front of house. Much of e-resource and serials work is invisible. Metadata cleanup, licensing negotiations, system troubleshooting. With AI, if we don't bring this work into the open, others may assume it happens automatically or doesn't matter. Leadership means intentionally stepping out from back end support into visible roles where decisions are made. If we don't spotlight our contributions, they risk being overlooked. I think this is so important to put ourselves out there. Sometimes we wait for things to happen, and if we keep on waiting, nothing happens. So sometimes we have to make the first move and go from behind the scenes to front of house. Share AI pilot projects and workflow improvements. If you can test if you test an AI tool for metadata enrichment or streamline renewals with automation, don't just keep it internal. Document it, share it, and show the impact. Translate technical workflow improvements into stories that highlight value, such as time saved, improved accuracy, better user experience. Even small wins can position librarians as active leaders in digital transformation. I think sharing small wins is so important. Sometimes we take those things for granted, but I share every win, whether it's big or small, and we have to start somewhere. So, spotlight can be some of the smallest wins could be the biggest impact. So don't be afraid to share it. Present successes internally and externally. Inside your institution, report progress to administrators, present at staff meetings, and keep colleagues aware of what's working. Beyond your institution, write blog posts, publish short case studies, present at conferences, or share in professional networks. The more you spotlight your expertise, the more librarianship as a whole is recognized as a critical voice in AI adoption. And also, for me, I think being able to spotlight yourself, put yourself out there, also builds trust. And trust is so important. That's how people will come to you and be seen as a leader because you're putting yourself out there, you're making waves for others, and also giving them the value that they need. So next, we're going to go to inner work. Build confidence daily. Reframe self doubt into growth. Everyone experiences imposter syndrome, especially when facing something as new and complex as AI. Instead of seeing doubt as proof you don't belong, treat it as a signal you're stretching into growth. Confidence isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward despite of it. Reframe I'm not behind, I'm learning. I know a lot of us feel that way, especially because AI is on the rise. Every single day there's something new when it comes to this new technology, but you're not behind at all. You're just getting started. And it's okay. When I first started learning I didn't even know what a prompt was. I didn't even know what to do. I just decided to download ChatGPT and just start playing around with it. And, the more I got into it, I would like go on YouTube videos, learn more about it, check out other people who are talking about AI. But you just have to start, right? It's okay to start messy. And, you know, we all go through imposter syndrome, myself included. And I know sometimes it can be really, really daunting, right? But I also utilize imposter syndrome as a sign that we're growing, right? We're going to move on to the next level. And so when you're moving up, it's going to feel weird, it's going to feel uncomfortable, and and you know, we get to overcome our fears, right? Like I mentioned, confidence isn't the absence of fear, it's having that fear and moving it anyway, moving forward anyway. And so when you can do that, your confidence level just goes through the roof. Practice presence, body language, voice tone. How you show up communicates leadership as much as what you say. How you show up communicates leadership as much as what you say. In meetings, sit upright, make eye contact, and enter conversations early than waiting until the end. Speak clearly, avoid minimizing phrases such as I'm not sure, but and use tone that projects curiosity and authority. Practicing presence daily, whether in one-on-one conversations or larger settings, gradually rewires your sense of confidence. And it's so true. Practice makes progress. When I first started speaking, I would actually practice in front of the mirror. I would try to memorize a 10-minute speech and figure out how I would deliver it, how I would speak, what kind of tone I have. And at first it was really weird because, I'm talking to a mirror, but the more I kept doing it, the better I got at it. So yes, in the beginning it's going to feel weird, it's going to suck, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. So it really has to start with yourself. Just start practicing and you'd be surprised what you can come up with. Small wins equals confidence momentum. So confidence is built like a muscle. Repetition and small gains over time. Celebrate little leadership acts, asking one good question in a vendor meeting, sharing one success with colleagues, piloting a small AI tool. Each win adds to a cycle of momentum. The more you step in, the easier it becomes to keep stepping in. And like I mentioned, it's so important to share your wins, no matter how big or small they are. I know sometimes we feel like we need to wait for that big moment to celebrate, when really it's these little moments that really help you shape your confidence. And I always say it's the small daily actionable steps that yield results. So just start small, just keep doing it every day and see what you can achieve. Rome wasn't built a day, so don't expect yourself to go from 0 to 100. Just start from 0 to 1 and start building it day by day. So, like if you were to run a marathon and you never ran a day in your life, just start with 5 minutes and then slowly add 1 more minute as you go. And if you did that for a month straight, you'd be able to run over half an hour just because you slowly added 1 minute per day as you decided to practice the marathon. So, small wins, small daily actionable steps yield the great results. Belief, trusting your value. Confidence is learned skill, not personality. Confidence is often misunderstood as something you were born with or not. In reality, it's a skill developed through practice, reflection, and experience. Every time you speak up in a meeting, present an idea, or ask a hard question, you're training your confidence muscle. Framing confidence as a skill rather than a trait helps remove the myth, I'm just not that kind of leader. Believe in librarians' central role in AI ethics. AI decisions can't be left to technologists alone. They touch on privacy, bias, access, intellectual freedom, all areas where librarians are experts. Belief here means fully trusting that your professional voice belongs at the center of AI adoption. If librarians step back, ethical dimensions risk being overlooked. If we step forward, we ensure AI serves scholarships and communities fairly. I think this is so important. Having that belief, it really does start with having that belief. And if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to go out there and show up as a leader, especially in this industry. And so you just know that no matter what happens, you're going to make it work, even if you have no clue how you're going to start. A lot of people who are successful, they just started and they just kind of figured it out as they go. And so, even in my latest book, Bridging the Confidence Gap, I talk about the importance of ready, fire, aim. Start before you're ready, take action, and course correct as you go. And that's how we get results. And, it all starts with that belief, knowing that you can make it happen regardless of the situation, even with the rise of AI. Anchor decisions in equity and access values. Belief isn't just internal, it's also about conviction in your guiding values. When AI promises efficiency, cost savings, or innovation, it's easy to get swept up in surface benefits. Belief means holding firm. Does this tool advance equity? Does it expand or restrict access? Trusting your value as a leader also means trusting the values of librarianship as a compass in every AI related decision. So make sure, just start building on your belief system. Just know that you're more than capable out there to go do amazing things. And I know sometimes it sounds really cheesy the phrase believe in yourself, but it is so true. It really, really does start with having that belief, knowing you're capable, knowing you can make it happen. And so if you walk away with anything out of this whole talk is knowing that you're more than capable to make a change, to utilize AI for good and be the leader that you're meant to be. Leverage. Using allies and influence. Build departmental champions. Confidence grows when you're not carrying the weight alone. Allies amplify your voice. Identify people in other departments like research administration, student success office, or faculty governance who care about equitable technology. When they repeat your message in their own spheres, your influence multiplies. Leadership isn't always about being the loudest, it's about creating networks of champion who carry the vision forward. You don't have to do this alone, and being able to leverage your network, leverage your allies and influence, your message can go even further. Collaborate with IT faculty and vendors. AI adoption is rarely siloed. IT departments manage infrastructure, faculty shapes research needs, and vendors supply tools. Instead of approaching these groups as gatekeepers, approach them as partners. Ask IT, how can we align AI systems with data privacy? Ask the faculty, what concerns do you have about AI and scholarly publishing? Ask vendors, how are you addressing algorithmic bias in your products? Collaboration reframes you from a background role to a connector and facility in AI conversations. Use institutional platforms such as committees, reports, policies. Influence often happens through structure, not just individuals. Volunteer or asked to be appointed to institutional committees, shaping digital policy, teaching innovation, or technology adoption. Write reports or position statements that frame AI from a library perspective. Contribute language to institutional policies that embed equity, access, and transparency in AI adoption. These platforms give your expertise a permanent, visible footprint in decision making. So let's start utilizing your network, your allies to get the message across even farther. And last but not least, out of our visible framework is elevation from individual to collective. Mentor colleagues in confidence practices. Confidence is contagious. When you share strategies like reframing doubt, using storytelling, or practice presence, you empower others to lead. This doesn't require formal mentoring programs. It can be as simple as encouraging a quieter colleague to speak up in a meeting or co present with someone new to AI conversations. Elevation means making leadership a shared practice, not a solo performance. Elevate diverse voices in AI discussions. AI systems can reinforce systematic biases if diverse perspectives aren't at the table. Elevating voices means actively creating space for colleagues of different backgrounds, roles, and experiences to contribute. Ask who's not being heard in this conversation. How can I make room for their perspective? By amplifying diverse voices, librarians model the equity we want to see in AI adoption. Lead change that lifts the profession, not just one role. Visible leadership is bigger than individual recognition. It's about strengthening librarianship as a whole. When you advocate for ethical practices, AI practices, publish on lessons learned, or build cross institutional collaborations, you're advancing the profession's collective role in digital transformation. Elevation is about legacy, ensuring librarians are recognized as leaders in shaping technology's futures, not just responding to it. So I hope this framework kind of helps you out. And of course, there's a recording. You can always check back when you for if you want to go back to something. So visibility roadmap, pulling it all together. Number one, Map your AI landscape. Start with awareness. Where is AI already entering your workflows? Metadata, discovery layers, and analytics. Who are the decision makers around AI in your institution? IT, administrators, vendors. Mapping the landscape clarifies where librarianship already touches AI and where visibility needs to increase. Apply visible steps to guide your engagement. The visible framework is a practical roadmap, not just a concept. So, voice, speak up in a vendor demos and strategy meetings, identity, lead authentically, rooted in library values, spotlight, share wins so your work is seen, inner work, build confidence through practice, belief, trust your expertise in shaping AI, leverage, build allies across the institution, and elevation, amplify others' voices to strengthen collective leadership. Applying these steps ensure that AI adoption is guided by confidence, not fear. 3, commit to ethical and inclusive leadership in every AI decision. Visibility isn't about being seen, it's about what you stand for when you are seen. Every AI related decision is also an ethical decision. Who benefits, who might be excluded, what values are reinforced. Committing to ethical and inclusive leadership ensures librarians aren't just visible but also trusted guides in technology-driven change. So, here's some key takeaways. Visible equals practical framework for confidence in leadership. The visible model gives you concrete steps, voice, identity, spotlight, inner work, belief, leverage, elevation to turn confidence into visible leadership. It's not abstract theory, it's a toolkit you can apply daily in conversations, projects, and decision-making spaces. AI disruption is an opportunity to step up. Change often creates uncertainty, but it also creates openings for leadership. As workflows evolve and institutions look for guidance, librarians have a chance to claim space, set direction, and ensure technology aligns with scholarly values. Instead of waiting for change to happen to us, this is the moment to lead change with us at the center. Librarians can shape equitable, trusted digital transformation. AI will influence discovery, access, and scholarship, areas librarians know best. By being visible, confident, and values driven, the librarians can ensure digital transformation is not only efficient, but also ethical, equitable, and inclusive. The future of AI and scholarly communication isn't predetermined, it's shaped by the voices that step up. So, with which visible step? So, here's some questions to end the talk, something that you can, just kind of ask yourself, or you could write it down in your notebook. Which visible step resonates with you the most with you? Where will you apply it first in your AI work? What story can you tell tomorrow to raise visibility? So I hope these questions you can start kind of getting the ball rolling, put yourself out there, utilize AI for good, utilize AI to elevate your leadership, your voice, because it is a tool like anything else. A lot of us think, oh, it's going to replace a lot of things. No, it's not. It will, but it also will create new opportunities, new jobs, new things, and especially confidence will play a role in this. And it's with your leadership skills, your confidence skills that will get you there, right? So starting with that belief so that you can step up and be the person that you're meant to be. So I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. If you'd like to connect with me, here's my QR code. You can scan it. It'll lead to my social media, my websites, resources to help you in your visible framework, and some other cool things. Like I have a podcast where I've interviewed over 800 women on the topic of confidence. That's where actually my whole journey started. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. I hope you enjoyed all the other presentations out there. And like I mentioned, AI is a tool like anything else. And if we utilize the tool to elevate our leadership, elevate our voice, to elevate our visibility, we become unstoppable. I know it's still a brand new tool, but sometimes this is the best time to work with that. And now we have a tool that can kind of jumpstart it even faster. So, hope you enjoyed the presentation. Hope you enjoy the rest of the conference, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.